Or maybe we open the gift called superficiality. I'm sure by now everybody's heard the story of the Walmart employee who in Maine was stampeded to death on Black Friday. A news reporter I listened to this week said, well, we just received a new statement and found out that Walmart employee had not been trained in crowd control, as if that were the issue. Right? The issue was not that the man was not trained in crowd control. The issue was that the crowd took a man's life to save a few bucks on a Wii game system. There's something wrong with that. But before I judge them, and I dare to see myself in them, for I too have run through life many times, stampeding and trampling to death what isn't even important. What is important for what's not important. You know what I mean? Work, work, work. Stampede right over family. You know what I mean? Have to have this, have to do that. That becomes the place of the relationship. The things become more important than the people. The doing becomes what consumes me rather than the being. And all of a sudden, I'm going to open up this gift called superficiality. I believe that every Christmas, if we don't open up the gift of John 3:16, we'll open up a gift whether we want to or not. It may be stressful, it may be depressing, it may be superficial, it may be something that you would have to label in a whole different way, but you know what I'm talking about. We open something on Christmas. Today, at the beginning of this December, I think it's a good time for us to decide what we're going to open. Good intentions won't open anything good in our lives. Action and choice will. Anna, my 2.5-year-old, has been preaching a very convicting sermon to me already this Christmas season. When we go out and we're driving around at nighttime, Anna sees the lights and she says this every time. She says, "Woohoo! Look at those lights, Daddy! Woohoo! Look at those lights, Mommy!" Every time. I don't care if you just, if it's a red light that you've just taken a white light out of, she's going to say, "Woohoo! Look at those lights." When was the last time you genuinely let out a woohoo? Look at those lights on Christmas. You know what I mean? When Anna knew that we were going to have Santa here at church yesterday, and on Friday night she was so excited that she woke up at night and she said, "Daddy, I've got to hurry." I said, "Why do you have to hurry?" She said, "I have to hurry because Santa's waiting for me at church." And I said, "Anna, it's 10 o'clock at night. It's a long wait. Go back to bed." And several more times she woke up because she was so excited about it. And then I've read the Christmas story of Jesus being born to her, and I don't know how many times already. And every time I read it, she asks me to read it again. And we have these silly little stuffed puppet animal things and people to represent the nativity scene. And I tell the story, and every time, "Daddy, read it again. Daddy, tell me again." And every time she says that, I get a little more convicted. Because I think, I know this story so well that it hardly even phases me anymore. When did that happen? You know what I mean? When did that happen? God forgive me. For God so loved the world, my gosh, He gave His only Son. And I'm opening gifts of stress and depression and superficial. By God's grace and God's help, not this year, huh? Not this year. So this morning I want to offer kind of a different challenge. This one, really, if you're not comfortable with it, don't do it, because this one will require us to be a little more real than our usual times of prayer and activities of prayer do. Because it means we're going to have to just be really honest and say, you know what? I'm going to walk over here to the gift of depression and say, "God, I want an early gift exchange to occur. I want to open John 3:16 this year and the life and the love that brings rather than depression this year. By your grace and your help, I'm going to do that." That means we have to be really honest with each other in front of God and in front of others. And I walk over here and say, "You know what? I make this time of year about hectic and stress. Not this year. I still got a chance not to miss it. I'm coming over here." Or coming to the superficial, and I've made it too much about things that don't really matter. Made life about things that don't really matter. And you just come and get one of these things that we have, either one or both, as a way of reminding yourself of that this Christmas. And as you do, I just challenge you to do this. Just pause for a moment and pray a prayer of commitment. God, by your grace and by your help, I exchange the lesser gift to receive your greatest gift. Just put that in your own words, however that sounds, whatever that looks like. And if anybody who wants to join me in that, then just come and do that as we sing these worship songs. Anytime during the worship time and songs of worship, you can feel free to do that. Let's make Christmas about what it's really about. For God so loved, He gave. You may be seated. Well, that sounds good to be able to pray those prayers and say, I simply exchanged the gift of stress or superficial or depressing, and now I receive God's gift of John 3:16 in a whole new way. That sounds good, but how do we do that really? How do we do that where we live? If John 3:16 teaches us anything, it is that the heart of Christmas is love in action. For God so loved, He gave. And what if the only way to truly open up something other than these gifts, and to really open up Christ and His gift of love and His gift of life as He intended us to live, is for us to be willing to be the gift of Christmas, of Christ's love for somebody else this Christmas. Here's the question of Christmas for me. Have I moved beyond good intentions? And am I directly involved in anything that makes a difference for anyone other than me and my immediate family? Jesus said, if you're going to come after me, you must deny yourself, take up your cross, and follow me. He gives little room for excuses, doesn't He? I hate that about Jesus. He gives little room for me to say, yes, but it's really busy this time of year. Yes, but I really need this right now. Yes, but I've got to think about the kids' college someday. He gives little room for that. He says, Chad, if you're going to follow me, then start denying yourself, take up your cross, and let's go someplace. Let's get moving together. Jesus delivers a strong message to us in the U.S. church. Warming a seat on Sunday and praying for the needs of the world does not cut it. To be a follower of Christ, I must be alive to the difference that He created me to be a part of. I must wake up and say, no more good intentions. Lord, I will do something, even if it seems small. I will do something to make a difference for you. And I think a lot of times the reason we don't do something is because we feel like what we have to offer is so small. I believe if you read the words of Jesus, you'll hear Him saying, hey, don't worry about the size. Just do something and see what happens with it. Because when God is in what you offer, incredible things happen that you could have never dreamed or anticipated anyhow. Jesus says the kingdom of God is like a mustard seed. It's a small seed. It's like a little freckle. It takes 750 mustard seeds to weigh 1 gram. And Jesus says, you take that little seed, you plant that thing in the ground, and it'll grow and grow and grow until it becomes 3 times the size of the average man. And its branches are so big that whole flocks of birds can come and nest in it. Jesus says, this is what can happen when somebody is willing to say, I may not have much. It doesn't seem like it'll accomplish much, but I got this little bit of time. I've got this little bit of energy. I got this little bit of talent. And God, it's all yours. If you can do something with it, go at it. And God does. He never takes a gift you offer and lets it go in vain. He grows that thing and grows that thing until you're making a difference that you probably will not even know about until you get to heaven someday. But please understand this. Making a difference is risky. Everybody wants to make a difference, I believe, deep down. But the difference between those who make a difference and those who don't with their lives is the difference between those who not just want to make a difference but are willing to make a sacrifice. God so loved the world, it cost Him His own Son. If you are willing to make a difference, then understand it will cost you something. Those who preach a belief system that says that if you follow God, you'll get. Don't get it. Because to follow God means that I'm willing to give up so that somebody else can get it. But that every time I do that, I gain. I gain what really matters. It will cost you time. It may cost you talent. It may cost you money. It may cost you sleep. It may cost you convenience. It may cost you energy. It may cost you your comfort zone. It may cost you anything. It may cost you everything. But no matter what it costs you, this way of living is the best way to learn to live. For Jesus said, whoever tries to save their life will lose it, and those who lose their life for the good news of Christ will gain it. He says, you don't lose anything when you give for me. You gain. And I don't want to get to the end of my life and realize that I've lived for nothing really that matters.